With OpenAI releasing the GPT 4.0 model, specializing in image and speech, it has never been a better time to implement an AI-controlled assistant for your business. Let me explain. Here in the UK, the salaries of assistants over the phone are between £23,000 and £54,000. Using the framework I will show you today, you can replace those 5 figures with at least a 2-figure monthly bill at around $15 a month. The purpose of this video is to explain to you how you can make an assistant for any of your needs. So, as such, I will use a generic example of a pizza restaurant. Their AI assistant will have 2 jobs: creating reservations using Google Calendar and checking the menu for different questions a caller may have. This way, I can present to you how our AI assistant can handle getting information and updating information. You can replace these 2 needs with any of your own or even add more. Let's get started by setting up our assistant in Bland.AI. As of right now, Bland.AI only sells numbers based in the USA and Canada. However, there is a way to use this service outside of these places by using a Bring Your Own Twilio account add-on, which costs around $300 a month, which is still much cheaper than hiring your own assistant, by the way. For this example, I'm going to buy an inbound phone number from the US. Alright, so after buying a number from the list that suits you, let's begin to customize the hyperparameters involved. Starting off is the type of model we want to choose. Personally, I prefer the enhanced model, as it strikes a clean balance between following the script and a nice flowing conversation. Next is the choice of voice you want to choose for your AI. Some of the voices sound kind of weird, but others, like June, sound actually quite good. You'll see this when I show you a call at the end of the video. Alright, next we have these 2 fields. I prefer to start with prompt, as it gives a bit more context onto what I should write as the opening. So here, we are essentially creating our AI, telling it who they are and what they do. I won't go over everything because your chatbot will definitely have different characteristics to mine, but I'll quickly skim over it. But first, shout out to Tech at Work, as a good chunk of this architecture is inspired by one of his videos. If the caller wants a reservation, I want my AI to ask what date they want, store that, and then cross-reference this date with a knowledge bank of all busy times in my schedule. If it's fine, return them a final booking and ask them if they have any questions about the food. After this phone call, I'll have a transcript with lots of information such as phone number, name, reservation time, etc., which I can use how I want. You might have noticed we have these weird variables in our text with curly brackets around them. Well, these are pieces of dynamic data which is information that our AI assistant can directly reference when talking. For example, we could set up a broker AI assistant and link them directly to the trading price of GameStop if we wanted to, and the assistant would be able to tell the caller about it in real time. For our case, I've denoted full busy as the variable for times in the calendar which I'm fully booked for, and menu info for all the information currently available on the menu. But we'll get back into that in the dynamic data section. Let's continue on to our next 2 hyperparameters. Interrupt threshold is what it says on the tin really. It's the amount of silent time before the AI begins to talk in the conversation. In my fine tuning, I prefer a real low value as the conversations aren't too technical, so I can sacrifice time for a better answer for a more quick response. Temperature is really important and acts like a creativity gauge for your AI assistant. A low value means they will stick to the script well, and a high value allows for exploration. Now, for a pizzeria assistant, a value of 0.8 works really well, but for an accounting firm, you would want a value of 0.1ish, as the conversation is usually formal and requires sticking to the script a bit more. Keep pathway ID as blank for now. However, this option here is kinda cool. If you're in a real technical field and are afraid the AI won't really work with you, you can set it up like a sales qualifier where the AI can determine if this lead really does need your help, and then will be forwarded directly to you. Let me know if you want a video based around an agent that uses this. Now here's where our first automation begins. After the call concludes, a bunch of information will need to be stored and sent somewhere. We will send it to Mate.com to undergo a process to make it useful for us. You get this URL from our first module, Mate.com, to connect this automation, which deals with information after the call. Its purpose is to make the reservation and also send a summary of the transcript over to our sales team to review. Here is a quick rundown of the flow. The call ends, we take the transcript, we use the ChatGPT module to make a summary of the script and pass out the name, start time, phone number and reservation date. We then create a Google Calendar event and also send a summary of the transcript over to our sales team. If you are using this whole scenario, you'll need to connect your OpenAI account, Google Calendar and email. For your OpenAI account, go to openai.com, products, API login, go ahead and log in, press API, go to your dashboard, go to API keys, then create one if you need to. Use this information to populate these fields to create your OpenAI connection. connect your Google Calendar to Make, you're going to want to go to your calendar, press these three dots, go to settings and scroll down to the calendar ID. Then you can use that to connect it to Make. Email gets a bit trickier, right? If you're using anything other than a Gmail account, then it's simple, you just gotta follow the instructions. But if you're using a personal account with at Gmail, then you've got quite a lot of stuff to do, I think. When creating the Google Calendar event, by leaving this field as blank, Make.com assumes the reservation is for 1 hour. Sometimes the caller might not provide their phone number or some other information which halts the process. To prevent this from stopping the automation, I put this error handler ignore here. This can then be sent to a console where we can evaluate it directly instead of stopping the whole process. But what happens when the caller wants to have a reservation during a time where it's fully booked? Well, that's where our final section comes in, the dynamic data. Let's set this to post and consider this webhook field where we will populate this with the URL from this automation, which has a slightly different setup. Bear with me and I'll explain it, alright? It's actually quite simple. This time the webhook from Bland.AI is actually sending a request to gain information from Make.com. This goes in both directions, right? The upper row checks for busy times in the Google Calendar. It works as such. It denotes today's date as date, and plus 1 month forward as date forwarded. And using these time parameters, searches for busy times in my Google Calendar. Then, it considers each of these one at a time, groups all of the busy times, and denotes this as the variable full busy, and sends it back to Bland.AI. Notice how every time before I turn information into a variable, I put it into some sort of array. Now let's look at the bottom row where I go to the location my menu is stored and extract it from there. Since it's a CSV, I can extract what I need, which in this case is everything, store it as a variable and send it back to Bland.AI. If you want more dynamic information, just add another path and add in whatever it is you want. Make it really cool and you can pretty much link everything. The bread and butter strategy to get any information you want referred to by your AI assistant is as such. First, get it into Make. Next, aggregate it under one group, which works better if done using a text aggregator. Then, create a variable extracting what you want from that group, and finally send it back to Bland.AI using that same webhook. Remember, in the JSON path is $. Your variable name, and don't forget the double curly brackets. Heading back to Bland.AI, we have now set up everything we want and now have a chance to give it a go. Since I'm a UK citizen with an American number, there's unfortunately only one way I can do this cost effectively without buying the add-on.
Thank you for calling the Barnyard. How may I help you today?
Hi, let's make a reservation for the 25th of June.
Okay, let me check for available times on June 25th, 2024. Let me take a look. All right, we have some available times in the afternoon. How about either 1 o'clock p.m. or 4:30 p.m. on June 25th? Which of those would work best for you?
4:30 seems fine.
Great, I've got you booked for 4:30 p.m. on June 25th, 2024. Can I please get a name for the reservation?
Yeah, sure, it's John Cena.
Wonderful, I have your reservation booked for John Cena on June 25th at 4:30 p.m. Can I please get a phone number to have on file for your reservation as well?
076 24 123 456.
Okay. Got it. The phone number on file for your reservation is 076-241-23456. Just to confirm, your reservation is booked for June 25th at 4:30 p.m. under the name John Cena. Do you have any other questions I can help with, perhaps about the menu or anything else?
Yeah, so what can I get which is under 600 calories?
Okay, let me take a look at our menu options under 600 calories. We have a few great choices. Our garden salad is 450 calories, the grilled chicken sandwich is 550 calories, and our personal size margarita pizza is 580 calories. Which of those sound good to you, or did you have something else in mind?
I had nothing else in mind. Thank you though.
Thank you for calling the Barnyard. Have a great rest of your day.
Alright, so I'm pretty sure the lag in that call was from calling a phone number over Skype, which is kind of a dodgy thing to do to begin with. But other than a few kinks in the dialogue which I think can be fixed by lowering the temperature, I think that was a rather successful call. Let's check if our operations worked. We knew our menu dynamic data worked as it listed the correct items, and we know the calendar worked as it listed out the available times. And now we can see the appointment setter worked, and finally we can see the transcript duty worked. Well, that's it. If you made it this far, thank you for watching, and suggest anything in the comments and I'll probably just do it.